Hey, guys. Come on in. Book club number 44. And today we're going to talk about sexuality and sex and all that good stuff. So I am talking about a radical awakening. And in chapter 15 and entire part 3 is on sexuality. So we're going to dismantle the lies about our sexuality. And most people who have a problem with this topic don't even get to chapter 15. So if you are reading this book and you have gotten to chapter 15, I'm very impressed. I applaud you. I do tackle sexuality in part 3 of the book, and most people stop reading the book after part 3. They tell me I have a leftist propagandist agenda, and I am akin to the devil itself. So anyway, so come on in. Just finished reading the book. I give you a book to my clients. I love it. Okay. So this book, A Radical Awakening, is basically mapped out, this book, yes? It's mapped out as a journey. And the journey begins with realizing that you've been asleep. And then the next part is dismantling your patterns. And then understanding who you are psychologically, who you are biologically. Then it is dismantling, it's all about dismantling the institutions that we have been raised within. And one of the institutions is sexuality. Marriage, divorce, love, sexuality, niceness, and beauty. These are the 6 institutions that I debunk, massacre in this book. And it really annoys people. It ruffles feathers, and it really challenges what you believe in and challenges your conditioning. So Renee says, your book has caused a massive shift within me. I cannot go back to who I was before. Thank you for your work. Oh, I hope that's a good thing. I think who you were before was awesome too, but it's always good to evolve. Megali says the book is the bomb, so empowering. Christy, you just started the book, so sorry if I'm spoiling it for you. Maria says my whole country is burning. I hear you. I feel you. I'm sorry about that. It's hard to focus on awakening. Yet, she writes, her whole country is burning. It's hard to focus on awakening. Yet, awakening is not separate from the whole country burning. Awakening is all over the place all the time. Every moment is a moment for awakening. To use awakening to handle the crisis. We use these teachings not to have discussions at dinner parties. We use these teachings to evolve, to free ourselves. What good are these teachings if we don't use them in the moment when we need? So, with a loved one who's in the hospital, or with a child who's going to college for the first time, as my kid is, or a relationship that's going through a transition, this is when you have to use these teachings. This is when you apply the lessons of awakening. Awakening is the entire point of life. Every moment is here to show us how to evolve. So it is a standalone book. It is called A Radical Awakening. Turn pain into power. Embrace your truth. Live free. So the next few book clubs, I'm going to focus on the awakening process and how to truly live in the moment and understand what the moment is telling you. Most of us have been asleep. Why have we been asleep, guys? Asleep. We've been asleep because we have been deeply zombified by the conditioning of our culture. Culture has told us how to be, and we have prescribed to it. We have not been awakened to our own potential. We have not been awakened to our own autonomy, to our own sovereignty, because we are married to culture's indoctrination. So today we're going to talk about the lies around our sexuality. So sex, we have been told, is dirty, unchaste, slutty, and shameful. Only to be done with rules and regulations. Think about it. We have a lot of rules around sex, don't we? At least our generation. My daughter's generation, much less. But our generation and the one in between, the many in between, because I'm almost 50, have really been conditioned around sex. And we've been told very clearly that sex is only to be done under certain conditions and rules and regulations and with certain people only. Yes? Go for the gold. Sports Nutrition says, I just finished your book. It's a paradigm busting book. Thank you. So sex is known to be, we've been conditioned to think of sex as dirty, unchaste, slutty, and shameful. Only to be done with rules and regulations. This is very important. We have been subconsciously brainwashed to think of sex as not only something slutty and shameful, but only to be done under certain prescriptions, yes? Anything out of the lines, out of these conditions, is lewd and obscene. What? She did what? He did what? We love to talk about sex as if it is the most scandalous, salacious thing in the world. Cloistered and closeted, we inhibit and prohibit and take what could be divine into the realm of the guttural. We have taken sex, which is our most basic of basic natures. You know, we are first sexual beings, not first and foremost, but one of our fundamental capacities is sex. You know, nature's onus is to, sorry guys, my hair, as you can tell, is messy. Anyway, dirty and unchaste. Okay, so sex is we were born with a sex, whether we identify with it or not is another matter. But nature's entire proliferation is around sex, right? How does nature proliferate? How does nature spread itself? Is through sex. Our bodies are engineered for sex. The woman, every day of her life, at least her fertile life, from the age of 12 to around 50, we human females, are in some phase of our ovulatory cycle. Think about it. Our body is constantly in some phase of our ovulation. This means that the body is always getting ready for sex. For sex for what? For proliferation, right? Of the species. So at a very basic level, this is who we are. But then we human females and males have the capacity for desirable sex, pleasurable sex, not just sex for proliferation. We enjoy sex. Our bodies, our senses, our sensuality is all geared for pleasure, right? No shame in that. But how do we allow for that in a beautiful, conscious way, consecrating sex, making it sacred, and understanding that it is a manifestation of a higher self. It is not what culture tells us. Culture has told us that it is something to be hidden, something to be shamed, something to be only done when. And this goes against who we are, how we're wired. Now, men know this more than women, because men, whether they like it or not, human males, their biology typically, stereotypically, mandates that they pay attention to their sexuality. We females can kind of suppress it. We females have been conditioned to suppress it. We've been told that we cannot masturbate, that we cannot self-pleasure, that our pleasure lies only either in giving away our power to men or only when we're with a man. And it's all about, just straight relationships. We've been mostly conditioned to think of ourselves as heterosexual, and only to have sex under certain conditions, mostly marital condition, marital and legal. So we females have not been allowed to fully enter our sexuality. Religion and the religious system and the judicial system have taken sex and wrung it dry, okay? After you leave the church and you leave the courthouse, you don't have any juices flowing, because they've put so many prescriptions, so many boxes, so many rules around female sexuality, even more than male sexuality, that we females have completely cut ourselves off from our sexual power. Sex is something that we do not need to be ashamed of. It is natural. It's natural to be attracted to other sexual beings. So I write that in the book, and they think I'm talking about going and, having sex with everybody like horny rabbits. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's natural to be sexually attracted to other beings. There's nothing wrong with me saying that. And there's nothing wrong with if you feel sexually attracted to someone outside your box. That's okay. So I'm just giving permission for us to be normal. So I talk about how different the male sexual experience is from the female sexual experience. But let's just talk about the female sexual experience. I write that a culture that cuts us off from our most vital part of our essence makes us females pay a heavy price. We suppress our sexuality and we shove it into the underworld of our psyche. And what happens is that when you shove something in the underworld of your psyche, like sex, most of us have been repressed and suppressed, including males. That's why they're watching porn in their basement. They're not telling their wives when they go to the strip club. They're hiring prostitutes and getting caught. Now, I'm not endorsing anything, and I'm not condoning or condemning. I'm not condemning or condoning. All I'm saying is that we are a repressive sexual culture, ubiquitously. We are hiding, we're lying, we're cheating, and we are not telling the truth about our sexual natures. Why? Because the religious system and the judicial system have wrung sexuality dry and made us feel as if it is something we cannot talk about in the open. We need to bring sex out of the closet. We need to be able to talk about sex, talk about orgasms, talk about what pleasures us, talk about open or non-open relationships, when it works, when it doesn't work. We need to be open. I was talking with a gay man yesterday in session and asking him about how they communicate with each other. Gay men, and maybe even gay women or bisexual women, I don't know, but gay men, they've got this communication thing all down. They're like, we talk about everything. How you like it, how you don't like it, what matters, what doesn't matter, what you're comfortable with. They build trust through open communication. Now, I'm not glorifying anything, and I'm not denigrating us, meaning straight couples. All I'm saying is that communication is key. But if we've been conditioned that sex is bad, then we're not going to talk about it. And how can you be in a relationship where the other person should just know how you like to be pleasured? How will the other person just know? We need to talk about it. And talking about it doesn't make it unsexy. It makes it even sexier. But how can we women talk about it when we don't even know about our own sexual pleasure? What gives us sexual pleasure? We don't talk about it ourselves. We don't even know our bodies ourselves. We don't know what brings us to orgasm, how to orgasm, which part of the body can orgasm. We don't know anything. So most women are faking it, and most men are faking it too. Everybody's faking it. You know, the cheating is happening on all sides because no one wants to talk about the truth about sex. It's a hot topic for no reason. For no reason. It should be the most natural topic in the world, but it's sensational and salacious because it stayed in the closet. And when something is prohibited, it becomes salacious and scandalous. If it's taken out of the closet and out in the open, right? If you go to a nudist beach and everybody's letting it all hang, it's not even that pleasurable to watch, right? You don't want to even see because you're like, pfft. Once it's out in the open, it loses its potency, right? That's why affairs are so sexy, because you're like, oh, let's go hide in the basement or in your car, in your trunk, right? So the secrecy creates the problem, right? So similarly, all our prohibitions and all our inhibitions magnifies the secrecy, right? And the secrecy magnifies the prohibitions, and vice versa. The more rules you have, the more secret you'll be. The more secret you'll be, the more scandalous it'll be and more salacious, when none of it is necessary. All of it is bullshit. We've created bullshit out of bullshit. Everyone is having sex, or thinking about sex, or wanting to have sex, or scared of sex. But everyone has a reaction to sex. But we're all acting as if, not me, not me. I'm amazing, right? Especially men, right? Men are like, no, not me, not me. I don't think of other women. I don't want other women. All lies, okay? All lies. Get a guy to really be honest, they'll tell you. And guess what? It's okay. It's okay. Okay? It's okay. That's the whole point of this. This is normal. We are wired to be sexual. Males, more than females, are wired. They're like, ding, 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 ding. They cannot help it. But we're all pretending as if sexuality is not part of our innate wiring, like eating. Yes? For males more than females. So, then people want to know if I'm pro-monogamy or non-monogamy, and it's just a choice, guys. One is not better than the other. However, we as animals are inherently non-monogamous. Okay, that's just the way it is. And people don't like that because they think I'm against the institution of marriage. I'm just saying what it is. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. It's just an institution akin to any other institution which is constructed by man and therefore needs to be examined and not exalted because of the belief system that it is divinely ordained. It is not divinely ordained. Nothing is really divinely ordained. It is man-made. It is constructed, and therefore it needs to be severely scrutinized, criticized if need be, and examined in a healthy, intelligent way, right? So we need to really look at these notions of monogamy and non-monogamy and marriage and divorce, and these are all dualities created by systems, by the limited imagination of man for control, for oppression, for possession. That's all what institutions do. They control, they possess, and they dominate. That's all. So as long as you realize that, do whatever you want. But don't think, oh, I'm monogamous. That means you're better than somebody who's not monogamous. Okay? And somebody who's not monogamous, don't think that you're better than somebody who's monogamous. It just is what it is. Choose and change your mind. Right? But people don't like when I talk like this because they're like, oh, what do you mean? Just change your mind? You think we can just change our mind? We took an oath under Christ or under whatever. And what is this? Just everybody will just change their mind? Yes. Because if you don't honestly change your mind, you're just going to lie about it or suppress it or cheat. So we have immature, childish, primitive ideas around sex. Now, not the latest generations, okay? They're like super chill and super cool. Our generation, okay? So if you're 35 and over, you're in my generation, okay? And we have been screwed because we grew up with this moral righteousness of great superiority around, monogamy, around marriage, around all sorts of bullshit, while at the same time, our generation had great sexual acting out and great sexual perversion. But it was in the shadow. And this book speaks about the importance of bringing sex out of the shadow and talking about it plain as day. It shouldn't be a transformational topic. It shouldn't be a hot topic. It's just actually a boring topic. Everybody wants to have sex. Everybody has sex. Let's just talk about it. What is the big deal? Right? Now, anything that is suppressed will come out perverted. We're going to eat too much. you're going to drink too much, or you're going to cheat. Okay? So what do you want to do? When you shove something in the background and it's getting too full in there, it's going to leak out. Okay? So if you want to be honest about sex, you need to really look at your belief systems around sex. And it's most likely that your belief systems are laden with a superior morality, great judgment, great duality, and a whole load of bullshit. And a lot of fear. What if my husband's penis goes in somebody else's vagina? Or worse still, somewhere else, right? I own that penis, right? How dare that penis even get excited by some other boobs? That penis belongs to me. You know, I used to be exactly like this. I was like, don't look, don't stare, you belong to me. Till I awakened and realized that although I still want control over everyone's penises, they're not under my control. Guess what? The penis is not even under the guy's control. The guy is like, hello, I didn't do that. I promise you. I don't know what's going on down there. You know? So I know we women want control. And we're like, you don't look at anyone else. And I'm the only most beautiful woman in the world, which is so stupid and insane of us. Because, hello, first and foremost, when we say that, when we tell a man, don't look at any other woman, you know what we're doing? We are the most anti-feminist. Because we're going against each other. We are amazingly beautiful. You know how hard it is for a guy to not look at a woman? All the men I've been with are looking at all the women. And I'm looking at all the women. Because there are very few attractive men. I mean, let's be honest. The women are the beauties. We are the beautiful. So when we tell a man, don't you dare look at her, and and how dare you look at her, we are going against each other. Okay? We need to be pro-sisters. Of course you're looking at her. She's my sister. And she's beautiful. Right? Show power. But when we women begin competing with each other for these paunchy, bald men, we're going against each other and we're strengthening the patriarchy. Right? When you see a beautiful woman, and if you're a woman, you need to be going, heck, she's beautiful. Right? She's gorgeous. That's how we take our power back. By adoring each other, by loving each other, by understanding. But instead, we're getting all competitive with each other because we want to control the penis. No. It doesn't work like that. And anyway, the penis, my dear girlfriends, is out of control. It's out of control. You can't control a penis. The guy can barely control the penis. Bill Clinton couldn't control the penis. You can't control it. It is against the male's nature to have a controlled penis. You see, nature did a number on our poor males. They gave the male an uncontrollable wiring in a way that the male himself cannot control. Now, I'm not condoning the obnoxious men on the street. I'm not condoning, but I'm understanding. I'm pro-men as I am pro-women. I understand that men cannot help it. Now, this doesn't mean they don't go to jail if they rape. This doesn't mean you don't whack them, smack them, call them out. No, it doesn't mean you sit and you take it. But you also understand that they really don't have much control over their wiring. Their wiring is really wired to kind of drive them crazy too. They are also out of control. So we need to help them. And in a way, when our boobs are hanging out, we women, we're not really helping them. Now, of course, I'm all into female power. Wear your boobs any way you like. But please understand that a lot of men, they're going, they can't take it. Their brains are getting fried. So when my daughter is all like letting it all hang out, I go, do what you want. I mean, you're a woman, be powerful. But I'm like, you know what you're doing to your poor friends, the male guys? You know what you're doing? She's like, well, they better control themselves. They better do this, my daughter, right? So I'm like, yes, my love, they better control themselves. But you're making it very hard. Like, you're really like out there. The grapes are hanging right in front of them. So just like understand, you're doing too much, So the reason why also this is all a problem, our way of dressing, is because we're not nude. We should technically be all nude. If we were all nude, we wouldn't have a problem. It wouldn't be a big deal. We'd all be letting it hang out and we wouldn't be impressed. We wouldn't be that impressed. Okay, so I'm not condoning men to act out, okay? I don't want to I'm just talking about how harder it is for human males because their wiring is very specific, because nature wired the male body, very differently than it wired the female body. The female body is wired to ovulate, to then give birth, to lactate. The vagina expands. Her entire system is to reproduce, to give birth, to be the mother. The male system is wired to shoot and run, okay? To hunt, to shoot, to capture, to run, okay? To the next. And that's why sperm is cheap. That's why there are a billion at a time, right? But we only have one golden egg a month. One golden egg. Who gets the golden egg? That is the power of the female. The male, at every opportunity, 1 billion cheap sperma go all over the place, swimming like crazy, trying to get to the target. Because we females, we wait. We wait like queens for the right sperm to come. But unfortunately, many of us don't know that we have power, so we give our power away to just anybody and everybody. Anyway, so when we bring sex out of the closet, when we talk about it, when we explore our own sexuality, and we own the pleasure, and we own that women are beautiful, and that men can be attractive, then we limit the rules around the possessiveness and the ownership around our partner's sexuality. People don't like me saying this, but if you don't consider this, you may be raising a cheater or a lying relationship. The more couples are open about what they're attracted to, who they're attracted to, what are their fantasies, what are their desires, without ownership over the other person's fertility or reproduction or desire. You don't own somebody's desire. They have a right to find somebody desirable. It doesn't mean you are lesser than. But we women get so threatened when a guy finds somebody else beautiful. It's natural because we want to be the only ones. But understand that sexual wiring is not the same as loyalty, right? We have mixed loyalty with sexual wiring. Sexual wiring is sexual wiring. It's just like if you like to eat sushi, but your partner only cooks Indian food, will your partner feel betrayed? Why do you like to eat sushi when I like Indian food and I only cook Indian food? You should like only Indian food. No, you're like, I'm sorry, my taste buds are my taste buds. I'm so sorry, I don't like Indian food, I like sushi. In the same way, in sexuality, it is what it is. Sometimes they like you, sometimes they like that, sometimes you like you, sometimes you don't like your partner. It's an appetite, and it comes and it goes. It doesn't mean loyalty. It doesn't mean love. It doesn't mean a good person, morality. You know, we have mixed morality, loyalty, and love with sexual appetite. And the two are very different. One is a wiring, a biological wiring, and the other is an emotional connectivity. But most women do it, including me. I'm talking big, but when it comes down to it, I'm like, right? I'm sure I'll be like, oh, you don't love me? And my partner will be like, I just looked at another person's tits. I'm like, you looked at another person's tits? That means you don't love me, right? I'm sure I'll be stupid like that because I've been conditioned to be stupid. But this is what we do. We mix sexuality, sexual wiring with love, loyalty, allegiance, fidelity, and morality, right? Now the person is a bad person. You are a bad person because you like somebody else's boobs more than mine. And you touch them, and then she touched your da-da-da. Oh my goodness. That's why the smart ones cheat. Because you gotta cheat. What to do? Now, I'm not condoning cheating, okay? Bad, bad, bad. If you're cheating, it's bad. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not condoning it, I'm not condemning it. I am understanding it. And when I understand it, I seem to endorse it. I'm neutral towards cheating. If somebody cheated, I would understand that there is a deeper problem. There's a deeper situation at play. And both are involved in the deeper situation. But the way we react to cheating, it's about morality, it's about allegiance, about fidelity, about family values, and it's about love for God. Like we throw everything in there, It's the worst thing you can do is to cheat, right? But we have to ask, why is the person cheating? Why did the person not feel empowered to tell you? Why did the person feel like they needed to lie? Why? Right? Once I had a couple in their 70s, because she was so cute, the woman, she called me, she's like, Dr. Shefali, having a panic attack, okay? She's in her 70s. A panic attack, a lovely Jewish woman in her 70s, panic attack. I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened? She's like, you won't believe what happened. I'm like, no, I will not. Tell me. She's like, looking, I could feel her looking all over to make sure no one could hear. She's like, I caught my husband watching pornography. He was watching pornography, Dr. Shefali. He's in his 70s, the other poor guy. So, okay, no offense to anyone who doesn't like pornography, but I'm not for it, I'm not against it. It just is what it is, okay? So I'm just understanding it. But her panic attack over it, and I have compassion, okay? It may look like I don't, but I do. Because I understand that she has been conditioned. She's been conditioned that pornography is the devil, right? Now, I'm not condoning it and I'm not condemning it, okay? I have no opinion about it. I'm just like, it is what it is. I don't frankly have much judgment around it. I'm like, it's lasted just like prostitution has since the beginning of time. It's obviously serving a human function. Obviously, it's huge. It is here. It's the elephant in the room. Let's not pretend. And let's not aggrandize it and let's not blasphemize it. Let's understand it, right? So she was like dying. She wanted to get a divorce. She wanted to tell the whole family. She said, I'm going to tell everybody. He's such a bad man, such an evil person. And I had to literally talk her off the ledge. It took like months. She was in trauma that her husband dares to see other people having sex, okay? And the reason for it is because she was a purist, puritanical, little uptight, and highly religious. And she was conditioned that these are bad things. Now, the reason we have freaking pornography is because we're conditioned that sex is bad. If we weren't conditioned sex was bad, we wouldn't need to have pornography. You understand? The reason why we have prostitution is not because it is bad. The reason we have it is because it is the only other outlet for all suppressed sexuality. Where the hell do these horny guys go? Where do horny women go? What to do? Right? So they go here. I'm not condoning it and I'm not condemning it. I'm just understanding it. It has existed for posterity for a reason. It serves a function. And we need to understand it and stop just pretending like children. It's bad. Right? That is so simplistic. It's bad. It's bad. Okay. It's bad, but it exists. It is the mammoth in culture. It brings presidents down. It is here. Can we talk about it constructively? Can we create legality and safety around the prostitution industry? Can we not shame and degrade all of this? And the more we talk about it openly, the less it'll actually exist because it'll be open. All of this secrecy and cheating and lying and scandal exists because no one can freaking talk about it. So that's why we have acting out, perversion. We have, sordidness in the church, in the pulpit, in the home. We have so much sexual perversion in the home. Most rapes are by somebody you know. So most of the children, the female children of the world who've been molested have been molested by either the clergy or somebody in the home. Right? So the more we open up around sexuality, the less rules and prohibitions, the less cheating, the less lying, the less perversion. Right? If you tell a kid no candy, okay, when there's candy all over, you tell a kid no soda. So I raised my kid without McDonald's. So moral. I was like an amazing parent. I'm like, no McDonald's, no fast food, right? I did an amazing job, and I used to be on the pulpit on my soapbox. My kid is so amazing because I'm so amazing. My kid doesn't have fast food. My kid is amazing, right? Because I was controlling my kid. My kid is 18. Every single day, I'm not even ashamed to say because it is what it is and I'm honest. Wendy's. Maya, what else do you order? KFC, McDonald's. Oh my goodness, Taco Bell. Okay, I'm watching my child's beautiful system become clogged with grease and fat and bad meat. Okay, and you know what I tell myself? There you go. You created all the rules. You created salivation. And now the kid is like, I'm independent. I don't need you. I'm emancipated. I will order what I want. She always tells me, I'm an adult now, Mom. I'm an adult. Doesn't earn a penny, but I'm an adult. And I will order whatever I want. So this is the same thing with sexuality. You create prohibitions. You create judgments. You're going to create lying. Right? So I always tell the spouse who didn't cheat that you cheated in another way. You cheated your partner out of the opportunity to tell the truth. Now, I'm not saying that some people are just liars. Okay? Many people will just lie. Because again, we've been conditioned to live in fear. But I always tell the partner of the so-called cheater, let's talk about how you cheated. Let's talk about how you didn't tell the truth. And they're like, I haven't cheated. I haven't given my vagina away to any other penis. I go, yeah, you didn't do that. But let's talk about other ways you have not been present. Let's talk about other ways you were not here, where you gave your attention away. And they're like, attention is not the same as a body part. People are so uptight. So anyway, so redefining all of this is so important because we've just been brainwashed and we're living out of an automated 1920s archaeology of this skeletons and bones dug into our sexuality. We're literally living in this ossified, fossilized way, and sexuality needs to be transformed. It needs to come out of the closet. We need to talk honestly. Men need to talk, males and females need to have an honest conversation about orgasms, about the desire each one has, their libido, their sexuality, their dreams, their desires, so that when you talk about it, it comes into your awareness. Things that come into your conscious awareness can never be perverted. When you talk about it, people think, if you talk about it, then you're just going to go and have sex with every moving part. No. When you talk about it, you take out the enigma to have sex with every moving part. If it's all in here, you fantasize it and you breathe the fantasy and you want to have sex with every moving part. The best way to get your partner not to cheat is talk about it ad nauseum. You're like, no, let's watch porn. And your partner's like, no, I really don't want to. You're like, no, let's watch porn. And then on the beach, do you see that ass? Do you see those tits? Let them see. Let them see. Give them permission. Because when they have permission, it takes away half the sexiness. Half the sexiness is to do it on the sly, I got one up on mom and dad. Teenagers are so into themselves because they're just like, oh, F you. I did it anyway, right? So you don't want to create those conditions in your relationship where they're like, because most of us are just teenagers, right? So we're just looking for an opportunity to win up against the controlling parent. You don't want to ever be the controlling parent. You want to do the opposite. If you really want a strategy, do the opposite. But you're too scared to do it. You're too scared. What if your husband really likes the stripper? Okay, so trust me, you open the policy, you open the door, you take away the enigma. You take it away. And you have a healthier sexuality. And guess what? You evolve. Because you stop believing nonsense around morality, mixing morality with sexuality. No, morality is one, sexuality is another. Being a good person has nothing to do with anything except being a good person. It doesn't have anything to do with the religion you follow, the way you look, the money you have, or your sexual fantasies. Morality is just morality. And guess what? There is no single human I've met who is perfectly moral. Every human I know, I don't know about you, has a secret. Do you know that? Everyone, including your children. We are all living with a cloak. None of us are living pure, transparent lives. You know why? Because we're not allowed to. We will be judged. We will be blasphemized. We will be scorned. Everyone has something they have in a little closet. Tell me I'm not wrong. Every single person has something in a closet. You, including you, right now, you. I do. 100,000% I do. And only those who create safety in my life, who don't have judgment, who are not purist and moral, righteous, superior people will get my truth. Right? So you judge, I don't tell you. Well, actually I do tell. I tell a lot. It's all here in this book, A Radical Awakening. Let's read it. Let's leave the shackles of our really archaic belief systems. Let's bring sex out of the closet. At your next dinner with your girlfriends, talk about orgasms. Talk about how often do you orgasm? How do you like having sex? Do you even have sex? When was the last time you had sex? Let's have a sex conversation. Try it. Okay? This is actually my invitation to my damn girlfriends to talk about sex more. We do talk about it, but we want to talk about it more and more. Right? That's the elephant in the room. Okay, and invite me when you have that conversation. Okay, guys, see you when I see you.